put his hand to his temple and rubbed at it, muttered something to himself, before turning his attention back to the doorway. Shall we? Without waiting for Faraday to respond, Harold walked back into the room. Faraday ground his teeth. Stubborn. And then followed Harold. They returned to the parlor, feeling much more optimistic about their chances at getting some answers. So, where were you? Now I think you're ready to tell us. Where were you when Belle was murdered? I was with Dea in the hallway. She said that she heard someone moving around upstairs. Didn't she tell you that? No, she didn't. Nora gave a deep, fatigued sigh. She's trying to frame me. Very aspirational, to have a marriage where your wife wants you to get framed for murder. Anything suspicious? Sure, I saw Clarice run past us to get up the stairs. It seemed suspicious to me that she'd be in such a hurry. We could confront him with his motive. That is true, we could do that. Let's try someone else, and stay out. To check, we can't go back to the parlor, right? No, I do not look pleased to see them returning. Okay, what we should do is go to the bathroom. Oh, keep forgetting to close the door. Oh, well, let's get this over with. What'd you steal from the curio case? I didn't steal anything. Duluth said she heard you do it. She's wrong. Interesting. It's, really cramped in here. Please leave. Interesting. Well, welcome back. Gosh, how long's it been? It's been, like, minutes. Thank you. Couldn't you stay not here? So nice while you weren't here. Need your help. Everyone seems to. Please. Well, I guess I don't have a lot to do at the moment. And you two are too chumpy to have committed any murders. Thank you? Just don't get your demon out or whatever. I heard that it melted a guy's wife's hand off. In a jar of acid. At a party. Oh. That's a new one. You said you can break locks. My imp won't let me get locked into any place. So, technically, sure. If I can frame it right. Oh, okay, so we can get into the office. Dea's imp looked like a large metal key. It scampered free of her pocket, tears rolling down its handle. Oh. It pushed firmly against the door, and despite its small size, the door pushed smoothly open. The imp muttered through tears as it pushed. Let me out! Let me out! Are you okay? Why wouldn't I be? It just does that. Like I said, imps are weird. What they say doesn't mean anything. Thank you, Mr. Luce. That's all you needed? And I'm off. Snacks are a calling. What does that say about her upbringing, then? Especially the way she framed that story earlier. Yeah, controlling, overprotective father and only like one friend, so that feeling of let me out, gotta be definitely her inner demon, so to speak. Really like this. Harold and Faraday entered the office. We could learn a lot about their repressed emotions and literal inner demons by seeing how your imp manifests. Harold and Faraday entered the office. Saw what clearly constituted a murder scene. What? Oh shit. Scorch marks on the carpet, and a mess of papers that were not scattered on their previous visit to the room. There were several cabinets that were open, and the mess made it difficult to know where to look first. Shit! This place is a mess. There's no real way of knowing what objects would be relevant unless you could have a look around. Why me? My sight's better than Deluse's, but not by much. No. Use, you know. I don't want to do that here. You said I had to do this for Belle. So Hawley, can't you do this? At least to solve her murder. Fine, stand back. Go into the hallway, or something. Sure. Faraday took a deep breath. Took off his glasses. Oh. Oh! Well, this is the actual investigative vision. Belle's script for the play. It burned up with her. Almost none of it is left. It's not salvageable. It's the part of the script, too. Hours and hours, all ashes. I wonder if it will never get made because of this. What will happen if it's gone forever? There's a bird mark on the ground and one on the ceiling. She died right here and nobody heard it. She just combust. I just burn up like that. Good Harry. What if the killer comes after us next? What if you climbed that and fell backwards and just broke your head open? That was not fun at all. Almost nothing left on top except for a few pens and blue ink stains. The next person who owns this desk even know who Belle was. It's pulled open and something is missing. Something that belongs here is gone. Won't be able to find it if it's not in this room. What if that's the whole reason she was murdered? Imagine just running at the glass and trying to jump out. Harry's seal would push me back. He would save me without even knowing. Oh. Piece of shit. How many times have you run away? You could have done something with your life. What? You're the most pathetic loser. Man with no impact. So I've never existed. Belle wrote thousands of words more than you ever will. Ah. And now she's dead and her works will outlive her. What work have you done? You don't matter. Nothing matters. Nothing you ever do will be worth anything to anyone. At least Harry has done something. You're too broken to finish a single thing. He's too good for you. Oh no. When you die, not a single person will care or remember. Okay, that's... He tried to keep looking, but the room felt bigger and bigger every second, like it was going to swallow him. Everything inside it felt incomprehensible and impenetrable. Actually, his whole life felt like something he wished he could forget. His failures, his unfinished work, they all felt like 1,000 pounds manifesting themselves on his chest. He stared at the room, and in every single object, saw the terribleness of a cold, uncaring world that would burn or fade or rot. The room reminded him of how he didn't deserve to be here. Or anywhere. He was worthless. He lost control of his breathing, and the world felt like a stage he wasn't even on. His heart raced, and his face contorted into pain, gasping sobs. He couldn't make words. He struggled to stay standing or to catch his breath. Hawley, is it okay if I hug you? Harold moved close, wanting desperately to make it stop and to put his arms around his shaking friend. Though his arms ached to hold him, hoping that protective feeling would reach him. But he waited for the reply. Faraday's voice was just a series of gasping sounds. Between then, he managed a strangled word. Okay. Oh? Harry pulled him into a hug, and Faraday burst into tears. Moaned and tried to catch his breath between wordless, pained utterances. I'm sorry. Right here, Hawley. So, what did you find out? Faraday choked back a bitter laugh. Right back to work, huh? Sorry. isn't exactly a thing I do regularly. Right. It was something important. You're really awful at comforting, you know. Sorry. No, let's just stay here for a minute. That's enough. Harold gave him a squeeze. There was a lot he wanted to say. He bit back every single one of those words. After a couple of minutes, Hawley found it easier to breathe. They got back to work. The murder took place here. That burn mark, that's where she died. It wasn't in the boiler room. Whoever did it also burned up the entire final draft of her play. I'll get that written down. So, where to next? That's quite concerning. Oh, okay. Review notes. Bell's office found? Find Clarice. Front Noack. Used to admit he took the tooth. Okay. Dining room? When they reached the dining room, there was a figure sitting on the windowsill, curled up and still in the moonlight. Oh, I see. He was poring over a thick sheaf of papers. What difference that makes? Hello? Oh! The figure scooped up the papers, shoving them under a decorative pillow. I was taking a guess here, but did very little to hide them. Yep. Hello? What are you both doing here? We only wanted a moment of your time. You and Bill was murdered? I was in here. I really love the decorations. Belle put a lot of things from her own house into the story as Duchess Baker's style and taste. Trying to absorb inspiration. Didn't Belle say it was the parlor that was styled like Duchess Baker's room? Oh. Everything you see is part of my method. Don't be dodging the question by getting in character. What are you doing on the stairs? The stairs? Yeah, Merrick said he saw you running on the stairs. Is he sure? Well, I'm sure that this death is going to put your stage show even more in the spotlight. Did you really want to travel and get famous that badly? Of course not! That moment Clarice could no longer hold back. Burst into tears. I'm sorry. I didn't think anyone ever would even know. Clarice cried into her hands. I was on the stairs because I took the manuscript for the first story out of Belle's office. She probably had it out to write the play adaptation. I just really, really wanted to see it. I honestly thought I could just run down here and look through it without anyone seeing me. Then run back up and put it back. Belle's office door was open. I snuck in there after an imp left. I thought it was a cleaning imp, but the place was a mess. Then I heard that scream. I shut the door behind me. Hid the manuscript to find out what happened. I was going to put it back. It's been right here, safe and sound. Why would you do that? It sounds stupid and embarrassing, but I'm just a big fan who completely overstepped my boundaries. I'm so ashamed. Clarice's eyes rolled up again, and she sniffed loudly. Now I can't even apologize to Miss Belle for it. Where is it now? It's on the windowsill, right over there. Clarice retrieved the stack of papers, still wiping away a few tears with her free hand. I really was in here after that, I promise. I feel like an imp going into her office and it being a mess is kind of important. I understand if you don't believe me after what I did, but I really hope you find out who did this. Miss Bell was such an amazing writer and a kind person. Grace looked at her feet and held the stack of paper out to Faraday. You should take this. I'm sick just thinking about it. If you can summon Miss Bell's ghost, please tell her I say I'm sorry. I'll do that. Harold and Faraday left the room, feeling, not for the first time that night, deeply awkward. She seemed genuinely upset. I want to believe her. I want to believe no one killed her, but we have to be skeptical. For example, look at this manuscript. It's the first Constance Little Bear story, and as really neat as it is to be holding it for real, could swear Bell said that she wrote in blue ink. This is black ink. People lie all the time, and for the weirdest reasons. Sometimes it's just really hard to tell what to believe. I don't know why my Faraday voice got southern all of a sudden. Indeed, it seems like everyone here has something they're hiding. But so do I. I can't judge. Interesting. Do we have this in our, Okay, we're done talking to Clarissa. Clarisse? Thanks, Maggie. Published her first story under pen names. Maybe that's different. Wasn't them who did the stealing? You'll laugh. Where is Lupine, anyway? Suppose we go back to Bell's office. They return to the study. Oh. Hello. What are you doing in here? Snooping? You shouldn't. He gave up. May we ask you a few questions? By all means. Alright, where were you when Bell was murdered? I was checking on Goose. They're usually real tough, so I was surprised they were sick. So you met them before this? I guess the cat is out of the bag on that. Really? Interesting. Such an adorable detective, aren't you? Leaned a bit closer to Faraday with a wink. Faraday blushed and stammered. Yeah. So, you know them. Why pretend not to? I'd rather come clean. I don't want to deal with getting a murder pinned on me. I'm a thief, not a murderer. Oh. I'm guessing here, but I feel like everyone we talk to is going to say they're not murderers. But at least one of them is a liar. Ask Goose then. They'll back me up. Say I told you it's okay. Okay, we'll do that then. How'd you find out about this party? We've been planning this for a while. We got floor plans, got her to run into Goose. Now she decided to let him in. Would have been all the chance we needed. Why come steal something when you can't get out? That would have been exciting to deal with. It wasn't something I was planning for. This party just happened to be when she invited them. I found a way to sneak myself in under the circumstances. I didn't know you would seal the place, though. There's no way to get out of here until morning. That was a bit of a hitch, but I'm sure I could have worked something else out. So did you send the note that Debbie was reading earlier? A challenge. It would have been fun. Did you like my trick with the lights? You really scared poor Clarice. No one got hurt. No one was supposed to get hurt, at least. I really don't know what went wrong. Interesting. What did you see? I really didn't. I wasn't paying attention to anything but the prize. The prize being, I just love demon sharks. Hate to break it to you, but there's no such thing as demon sharks. Don't tell Goose. You break their heart. Alright, let's move on. Oh, I thought we could paw through Belle's notes and fill up on some fun stories. Come back if you change your mind. Bye for now, cuties. By yourself. Alright, Goose. Oh, I keep forgetting to close the door. Just love the crowding. Well, let's get this over with. Lupin says you can tell us the truth. Okay, if he says it's okay. Lupin and I are partners. We work together to steal imps that belong to other people and give them back to their owners. Oh, I did steal this. Goose reached under their hat and held out the sharp-pointed object. You seem like you're smart enough to know that this isn't a demon shark tooth. Yeah, but we didn't know what it actually was. Someone's imp, and they deserve it back. Maybe it's better if I take it and seal it up. No way. Goose pulled it away and put it back under their hat. You don't have the right to deprive someone of part of themselves. Maybe they got rid of it for a reason. Another reason, living with only part of yourself will always feel empty. Just that question? It's, really cramped in here. Please leave. Where do we stand? We're done with Goose and Lupin. Just gotta confront Noack. Still gonna get something from Debbie. Who's in the kitchen? Return to the kitchen, Vance barely looked up from her writing. Come to bother me again, I see. Why would someone burn her script? What a horrible thing to do. He had no idea what was burned. She had been working on it tirelessly. Well, it's almost completely gone. I doubt anyone can use it. Sorry. At least her legacy can continue. If all her notes are gone and I have to go back to the originally published version, make sure that the show goes on. After all, the creative voice behind the Constance Littlebear mysteries has not entirely departed. As her editor, I can continue the stories for her. I came in here to start making notes the right way. Felt like the only way I could respect what she's leaving behind. We'll let you get back to it, then. Is that all we have to gain from her? Yeah, I guess so. Alright. I feel like the bit about the thief would be interesting to confront her about, but... Alright, back to the parlor we go. Confront with his motive. Deleuze claims you had a reason to kill Belle. He says you were trying to sabotage her. Having a motive doesn't mean I did it. Don't make us get her to come back. Noack rubbed his shoulder. Look. If Dea says I wasn't with her, that means she has no alibi either. And she has a history with murder. I don't want to get her into any trouble. Did she actually kill her parents? Well, the way we were talking to her about the whole nudge nudge wink wink rumor mill about your parents, right? And the way she reacted to that, it seemed pretty clear, but don't want to make assumptions. I say she was with me. It's on her for saying I wasn't. And hey, if Dea gets the rap for this, maybe she'll need me to speak at the trial. Wait. You know what? I take back what I said. I was completely alone. You slimy bastard. Let her come crawling back. I suppose a judge could strike testimony from the record. But this isn't a court case. You're just talking to two guys. Two guys who know that you and Deleuze have an alibi. You're no fun. Yeah, I think we're done here. To everything we saw and heard. Pretty sure I know who killed Canterbury and Belle. Faraday nodded. Me too. Do you want to check your notes before making an accusation? Guess now would be a good time to do that. Alright, guess we're doing it. I'm not checking them now. I assure you, you don't need to do it at all. Friends with Faye. So we know. Goose was here under the pretense of research, but Goose and Lupine were a team. So they theoretically had no motive for murder that would have related to the play. Dea doesn't really have a motive for this murder. Like she said, she had an anti-motive. They also say she was alone, which is concerning. I want to believe Clarice, but we can't. I don't know if we can completely rule her out. She has valuable testimony as to what might have happened, but I don't think we can rule her out completely. I think we can probably rule Lupine out. Look at all the nothing we have in here for Debbie. He's slimy as hell, but I don't think he did it. I'm torn between Clarice and Debbie. Culprit is... Oh, wow. Alright. This feels like a binary good and bad end choice. The itch page does... Oh, we can save right in the accusation screen. Interesting. Much I want it to be you, I don't think it is. Although I can't rule you out either. It does seem like the incredibly obvious red herring. The hate sink who set up to be the villain. But in reality he's just a scumbag, not the murderer. And torn between Debbie and Clarice. I think I'm gonna go with... Alright. I'm gonna pick Debbie first. I mean, it's pretty obvious they held put a finger to his lips, then whispered. Shh, wait a moment. Leaned in and quietly continued. Certain that we're on the same page. Let's proceed with caution. Cannot tell where exactly the rented imps may be. Ah. Yeah, Clarice saw an imp moving through here, coming out of her office. And we put particular focus on the fucking flaming hot stove imp when we were in the kitchen earlier. Cannot allow them to suspect that we think it is. Now the word. Vance. Hawley nodded, and then stated loudly. So all of you said it wasn't you. It must have been a suicide. No murders in either case. Mystery solved as far as I'm concerned. He tilted his glasses down, that Harold could see his eyes, and gave a big wink. Harold did his best to act annoyed at this, instead of incredibly charmed. They headed towards the kitchen, but instead could hear movement towards the music room. What? When the two men arrived at the music room, They found Vance there. Was Lupine and Goose. What? Hold it right there. Lupine gave him a cheeky grin. We are nosy tonight, aren't we? Faraday clenched his hands into fists. Despicable. You were in cahoots with her the whole time. I guess there's no point in hiding it after all. Goose withdrew the demon shark tooth from underneath their hat and handed it off to Van. What? The great thief has successfully finished another heist. You said you were a thief, not a murderer. Eh? Murderer? Murderer? Lupine's eyes flitted from Faraday to Vance to the tooth in her hands. Uh-oh. I see. Goose, we messed up big time. If I hadn't been so worried about your health, I would have noticed sooner. What's all this racket? Goose entered, quickly followed by Nowak and Myers. Goose motioned towards Vance. She is. Faraday lost his patience. Yes, of course she's the killer. Myers shook her head. No, that can't be true. Miss Vance and Miss Bell have been friends ever since Miss Bell wrote her first Constance Little Bear mystery. Harold withdrew a sheath of papers. My apologies, madam, but not a single thing you've just said is correct, because Vance was not Bell's friend. Bernadette Bell did not write the first Constance Little Bear mystery. The first one didn't hit it big. Bell said she wrote it under a pen name, written in different ink. Original manuscript was not Bell's to begin with. Bell followed up with later ones and then hit it big? Stole the success that Debbie should have had by creating those characters? What? What? When Bell gave Miss Myers her autograph, she signed it in blue ink. The same blue ink that she claimed to have used to write all of her stories. But this first draft was written in black ink, with spidery handwriting that differs significantly from the rest of Bell's notes. The spidery handwriting is not, however, only to be found on this first draft. It can also be found. Faraday snatched the small notebook out of Vance's hands and held it open to show the assembled onlookers. In Vance's personal notebook. Not a word of it is true. It's just a distraction. He's throwing accusations around in order to confuse you all. None of you can trust such a vile man, nor his associate. Hey. I could have sworn I heard you mention that you were the one who recommended Ludicael to Bell. I mean, Ludicael's not a guy I would invite to a party either. If I was looking for someone shady, take the blame, plenty of people would assume he did it. She invited me, too. She said that Bell had stolen her imp, and she needed our help in getting it back. She was supposed to give Bell our calling card, that Bell would know we were stopping by. Why did she even need our help? Miss Vance, you could have strolled in and asked for your imp back at any time. Boss, it was a frame-up. Oh. She must have figured if Ludicael didn't take the fall, there would be 2 more outlaws as backups. Me? I'm never someone's backup. I'll never play less than center stage. All that matters is that she had plenty of patsies shielding her from suspicion. So cruel. This is mere conjecture, nothing more. How on earth could I have killed Bell? But you've so callously established. She gestured to the hole in her neck. I have no imp of my own. Not true. You vile thing! I'm not lying. I haven't published a book in years. I was forced to sell my imp. You didn't have your imp. You had several rented imps. As you all know, Vance made our dinner tonight. Using one of the cooking imps. That makes a flame hot enough to char a person alive. One that is, I might add, more than big enough to hold a human body. And soundproof enough to smother a tea kettle's screech. Let alone the last cries of poor Belle. No wonder that no one heard her burning to bloody death. And she's had control over them both in the past as well, because she said Belle would rent these imps from the same people often. She used the cooking imp to kill Belle in her office, then assuming that the imp couldn't move with poor Belle inside. Vance put Belle's body onto the same cart she used to serve dinner, the one with the ivy cloth. She carted Belle's body to the basement, dumped her in the furnace, threw the incriminating cloth in after her, and then screamed, alerting the rest of us. You did it. Admit it. I'm stunned that a man like you, was competent enough to put this all together. But solving this only means you've doomed everyone here. So fine. What does it matter? I wrote the first constant Little Bear mystery. It feels so good to say it. I published it under a pseudonym, knowing that the public would never accept it from me. Me? A respectable writer of beloved fairy tales? Writing tales of blood? Would sully my reputation. The story did modestly. Many readers enjoyed it. Including Bernadette Belle. The little upstart. She was a little nothing writer who loved my story and confided her esteem, not knowing that I was the writer. I told her my secret. She was so excited. She asked to assist me in continuing this series. I even allowed her a small percentage of the earnings. But as we published more and more, sometimes trading off submissions, it became apparent the public preferred her stories. So I let her write. More and more. But she had the gall to suggest that she deserved more of the profits. She even confided in her nosy little friend, Gareth Canterbury. Canterbury said it was wrong for Belle to write so much and for me to get all the profits, as though the series wouldn't exist without me. I, the creator of the series, was living on practically nothing. I had to sell my imp, my creative drive, just to maintain my third house. Yeah, your third house? And wouldn't you know, unwittingly, Belle bought it. Your imp or your third house? And now there was going to be a stage adaptation of the first story. My story. The director and Belle insisted on having Belle rewrite it. It was really the final straw. So I dealt with Canterbury, as she knew our secret. And then I dealt with Belle. And now, I don't need a single thing in this house to survive. Fire has really done me quite a few favors recently. Why not one more? Uh-oh. This rental imp just became unstable. It lost control and burned the whole mansion down. Tragically, none of you made it out. But you still sealed, lady. A shame we didn't catch that it was unstable when it killed Canterbury. What a shame, too, that I'll have to rewrite that script myself, now that Belle's gone. It will tie the whole narrative up neatly. An unhinged imp. Unfortunate fire. But no one to blame. And the public loves a neat and tidy story. Lupine whistled in admiration. Lady, that is a wild story, sure. But you're forgetting one thing. We're not just going to stand around and let you kill us. Goosey, get her. Goose drew a gun from their side and held it level at Vance. You seem to be forgetting about that second imp, which is just as dangerous. Knife imp! Knife imp, oh no! The razor-thin knife's imp sliced deeply through Goose's hand, and they recoiled, dropping the gun and holding the wound tightly. Vance laughed and held her own imp aloft. First, I shall reclaim my creative drive. Then I will claim your lives. And then I will reclaim my career. Harold felt his stomach lurch. It wasn't the merely self-obsessed fear of social discomfort this time. A sudden terror for the safety of every person he'd locked inside the house. Wait! We entered the house. Belle mentioned that she hadn't been feeling well. When Goose stole the imp, Belle was full of energy, while Goose was suddenly stricken ill. That imp is dangerously full of spite and envy. Must have been what made Belle and Goose sick. If you turn it to yourself right now, you might not be able to withstand. Vance laughed. Don't be absurd. I have it back where it belongs. And not you, nor anyone else will be able to take it from me. Once I have my creative drive back, I'll be returned to the height of my writing ability. Her imp was not her creative drive, it was her spite, her envy, her negative emotions. And it brought down anyone who had it in their possession. How could I, the greatest author of the modern era, be envious of anyone else? With that, Vance lined the thin spike up against the hole under her ear. Oh wow. And drove it straight into her neck. Oh good God. Well, with it reunited to her, she seemed to lose her balance and crumple to her knees. Forgot how this used to feel. I tried to warn you. Imps are complicated. And yours is filled with so much envy. Poison anyone. But this should be all I needed. To have the same creative drive Belle had. Vance moaned, trying to focus enough to direct the rental imps in her defense. She probably had no idea this thing was even yours. The cabinet was mostly just fake junk. She probably would have gotten rid of it if she knew it was what was making her so sick lately. Dea, help me tie her up. What, you just assume I have ropes on me? I mean, I do. But that's the rude thing to just assume. An hour later, as the sun began to rise over Belle's mansion, Lupine and Goose were the first to make a swift exit out of one of the windows, without so much as a farewell. The other guests left more conventionally. If you can call heading home after harassment for answers by belligerent police conventional. Police cuffed Vance and agreed to bring her in, pending a more thorough check of all the facts. As she was led past Harold and Faraday, she chuckled. You think this was a loss for me? Even if they take me in for a while, I'll still come out on top. Without Belle's notes, who do you think they'll be turning to write that script? Were they going to consult about the direction of the series? Who'll write the next story? How about the superfan, Clarice? Soon everyone will know that I wrote the first story. Full creative control. It's my series now. Pear watched her go, her gleeful laugh fading away as she was taken out the door. That sounds about right for the level of justice in this city. Disgusting. If the chain does publish the next story, I'm sure as hell not going to read it. While Harold gathered up his things, Faraday slumped over on the couch. Hey, next time you're going to a party, remind me that I hate them. How about I remind you of this? Nobody invited you in the first place. Ah. Faraday rolled over. Do you at least still have a solicitor? Some kind of lawyer? There's got to be something else we can do, that Vance doesn't get her way. Oh, sure. I'll just hire a lawyer to help Belle's memory, with all the money she didn't pay with for this evening. Faraday pressed his face into the cushions. We could pull a lupine and help ourselves to payment. Harold sighed. We'd probably get away with it, but it just wouldn't feel right even. Hey! Oh, wow. A reaction from the imp that he touched earlier. Can't stop working even if I'm dead. Ah! Harold dropped his bag and clutched at his arm, hanging off of his sleeve. Hello, was Bernadette Belle's imp? You little rascal! I finished finding that script. I'm going to seal you away. Wait. What? Harold opened up his bag and dangled a little thing above it. Nothing, it's simply Belle's imp again. Got me with one of those accursed jabs. No, before that, you said Belle's script. Yes, it's trying to get me to. Huh? Harold stopped and the imp hopped up onto his arm and gave a questioning look. Oh. I think I understand. Belle's imp was made for a desire to continue working. Belle was obsessed with finishing her script when she died. And without Belle around, it seems to need to compel someone else to complete the job. The imp hopped a little, seeming to reach for his hand. Harold lifted a finger and without a second thought. Jab. He pressed his fingertip down against one of the soft, sharp spines. Let's get the script. I hit in the office. Harold was halfway out the door before Faraday could hop to his feet and follow. The imp led them upstairs to Belle's office. He saw a hand along the side of the desk. Harry felt around and found a secret compartment. It slid open with little resistance. They pulled out a large document, all handwritten in blue ink. Faraday gripped Harold's shoulder. She must have suspected something. Does it look like it's usable? Faraday flipped through carefully. It was quiet for a time, just taking it in. Hawley? This rewrite fixes all of Vance's mistakes in the first story. I'm sure people are going to like it. Vance is probably going to scream her head off when she finds out. Serves her right. I can't believe something good finally happened tonight. I can give this to Myers and the director, and everything will... Shh! I'm reading. 3 months later, in Harold's stray, imp-infested home, Harold and Faraday were dressed in their best yet again. Faraday looked down at the 2 tickets in his hand. All that stress and hard work, and she didn't even bother to send us free tickets. At least we managed to get enough money together for them. You think you could handle this? It's the premiere, so there are going to be a lot of notable people there. For one night, I promised to ignore them all. Faraday wasn't sure that Harold could keep that promise, but he appreciated the effort. You know, I heard an imp lost control in the theater last month. It'd be just our luck to run into that on our one night out. I'm going back to bed. Harold turned around and plodded away. Like hell you are. Get back here. I earned this damn date. I'm letting my legs go limp. I'll drag you out if I have to, you lousy bastard. The end. Oh. That was beautiful. That was amazing. Oh. God, that was not just a really... Wow. That was way more than I expected from this. Just to get, like, 3 hours at least. Minnesota Historical Society and the staff of the James H. Hill House. Oh, so were the watercolored backgrounds based on actual photos of a old house? In that instance? Interesting. Oh. Oh. Tired Harold. Night out, Harold. Oh, done. There's the best Harold right there. Or the painfully awkward Harold. That's cool. Oh. I think we'll come back to that. Dev notes to close this out, but... Starters, we should obviously try and get the bad ending, which I assume is just choose wrong when picking the culprit. I wonder if there's unique end cases for everyone, but we'll pick the asshole. Faraday and Harold managed to get everyone to gather in the parlor. The gentlemen confronted their chosen culprit. Surprisingly, some of the others supported their choice. The culprit was kept under close supervision until morning. The sun rose and the seal of the mansion broke. The authorities were quickly summoned. They arrived promptly and carried the culprit away. Dr. Harold Ludicael was never paid for the evening's proceedings, and Hawley Faraday never quite managed to shake the feeling. They had made a dreadful error in judgment that day. Bad end. Ah. Oh, that's simple enough. Oh, end credits. Okay. Realistically, that's the only place that shows the game jam nature of this. It was kind of an abrupt bad ending. Everything else is so... Like, this is a proper full-length game that's worth paying for. I did. I'm glad I did, because this was amazing. It's an amazing mystery, first and foremost, but an amazing world that they set up here. The idea of the imps and demons. And first off, the premise that I stated in the first video, which was where ghosts aren't real, but inner demons are. That right there drew me in. An idea of a murder mystery involving the somewhat supernatural was cool. And I'm curious to see what you thought about the suspects going into the end here. It seemed like it was enough to rule out some of our suspects here. Like Dea, we couldn't realistically see a way in which she could have done it. This prick felt like the obvious choice. Like, even more obvious than the assassin. Like, he is the bad guy, the slimy bastard. With the, powerful imp that can compel you to follow his orders based on intimidation. a powerful business. But yeah, just felt too obvious to pin it on him. Even if there was a bit of doubt with how he was acting with the whole I was with Dea. Dea says I wasn't with her. A bit of doubt, but not enough to realistically put suspicion on him in terms of committing the murder. And say the clincher came down to the bird notes in Bernadette's office. As yeah, Lupine and Goose ruled themselves out. Dea and Marek ruled themselves out. In the end, I think it realistically did come down to Clarice and Debbie. Ultimately, there was enough there between the two of them that made me think for a bit. Oh no, maybe you found a more obvious choice than me, but there was just enough there to make me doubt my choice. And then, as things started to roll along further, I was like, yeah, the rented imps. The giant oven imp. And just the fact that Clarice gave us that she saw an imp coming out of that room. It's like, that's what pushed me over the edge there. In suspecting Debbie. I'm glad I got that right the first time. Okay. Let's move along. And read the dev notes. Hey, thank you for playing our game. This is the first time we've tried to make a mystery, so we wanted to try and make something that would be easier to solve. The first case in a series of short mysteries should always give you time to breathe. It really did. It introduced the world. Really did some solid world building, I'd say. Even not overtly, and never overtly, just straight up giving us stories of the world and the like. It's all really told through character interactions. I thought that was really well done, too. The word I was thinking of to describe it is blanking me at the moment. Exposition. Yeah, why'd that word blank out on me? Yeah, never directly giving us exposition. All indirect world building of sorts. Through the world, characters' interactions, actually seeing how people handle their imps. The actual physical appearance of their imps and stuff. And what you can infer about that. About their own backstories, so to speak. But that whole concept and the way they executed that was really cool. That being said, I still think we might have bit off a bit more than we could chew in 1 month. There was a lot to draft, to program, and to draw, but when it comes to games, we're the sort of people who like the beautiful failures, like Harold. Though he's kind of a scummy failure. But I love him just the same. He's a very personal character for me, so I'm both nervous and excited to share him with everyone. Backgrounds and characters were all done with watercolor and fountain pen, then scanned into the computer. Thinking of putting together a digital art book so that people can see how things were made. Also, all the imps have their own rules and ideas. It would be fun to write about them. I'm a sucker for monsters that represent, well, what did you think the imps represented? Yeah, that was one of my favorite things about this universe, honestly, is the imps. What they represented. You can infer a lot about, especially the way where they were presented with Hawley and Harold's.
Hawley specifically. His imp is sealed in his eyes. So, and you saw what happened when they unsealed them. How those negative emotions quickly overwhelmed them. And even... yeah. Dea's imp was shocking on its own, but really gave you a clear impression of what her upbringing must have been like. With an overbearing father, keeping her isolated from the world, so to speak. So I think I was overthinking things drastically when I was mulling over everyone and their demons at the end of the game, specifically with reference to Harry. I don't think I really fully commented on his demon, Maggie, so to speak. Precisely because I was overthinking that relationship, and so I just decided to err on the side of caution and not say anything at the time. Because I didn't want to misinterpret anything, especially related to that. Since Harry's particularly powerful demon he sealed within himself, Maggie, is a really felt like there was a particularly powerful amalgamation of negative emotions there. State the obvious point, Harry is trans. And Maggie, I believe, again, coming back later after the fact to try and not overthink things. Maggie, I think overall, is everything about himself, his younger self, past self, rolled all up into one. Obviously, his past before transitioning. We see a more aggressively clingy, obsessive personality, and literal acid, which makes me feel like back then he believed he was well and truly, based on the way Maggie acts, I'd say that he believed he was well and truly actively toxic, damaging the relationships around him back then, which makes that a really stark contrast with the Harry that we see in game. More reclusive, insular, socially awkward, afraid to speak up at times. You definitely saw the instances of Harry speaking up and kind of getting blown off and then just kind of actively deflating, which is such a relatable mood. But yeah, I think that covers Harry a bit more than I did in my initial recording. So that's all. Now back to the rest of the video. Thank you very much for putting up with me. Also, please let us know if you like the case of the Serialized Killer. I've actually got quite a lot more ideas in this setting, including the lesbian pirates that Lupin likes to sail around with. Those pirates also happen to be Hawley's moms. They're great. Alexis, yes, I was going to say anyways, I'm down for more idea. I would be down for much more stories in this setting. These characters, this style. Really cool stuff. Absolutely. Also, I want to meet Hawley's moms. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So, this ends for now. The story of the beautiful disaster. And his lovely, enthusiastic assistant. Will we see them again down the line? Perhaps we will. I hope we will. I'd love to see more of these. I hope you enjoyed. So until next time, until then, I sure enjoyed. Thanks for watching.